It's Mon Mothma's HoloNet, and we're just posting on it. Welcome back to Mothma News and our 50-day countdown to Andor season 2. I almost said the Mask of Fear. Would have been hilarious. Anyways, today's guest, I will allow you to introduce yourself and our
Hi,
topic.
hi, I am Zach. Today we're talking about the Star Wars novel Catalyst, a One novel by James Luciano.
Yes, it's so good. I love this book. I haven't read it as much as I should, but I've read it before. Um, so, uh, yeah, what happens in this book? Krennic is a bitch. Krennic is a little bitch throughout this novel. Tarkin is a hater. We
Tarkin's always a hater.
Tarkin is always a hater. I think it's really important that this is where we learn how Saw met Galen and Lyra.
Yes,
Because
that's a
that
huge.
is, yeah, because that's like really important for Rogue One. And Rogue One is important for Andor, and Andor is important for Rogue One. Uh,
hmm
yeah. Do you think anything from Catalyst is going to show up specifically in Andor season 2?
I think Saw might, mention our favorite little rogue Jin.
Yeah.
I think that's probably going to come up because
Yeah.
depending on which eras we get Saw in, it's going to be it's probably going to be a few years after he left Jin on her own so that
Yeah.
she could not be killed by his rebel friends.
Yeah. Um, yeah, because that fits into the timeline quite well. Uh,
hmm
I feel like maybe we'll get a Galen mention if Krennic decides to bring him up.
I
Krennic
mean, we're,
likes
we're
bringing
getting
him up.
Krennic, so I think that
Yeah.
Galen's going to
Yeah.
be talked
Hmm.
about.
Yeah. I don't think we're gonna get a Lyra mention though.
Probably not.
Because
He
Krennic does
hated
not
her.
like her. Yeah, he hated her guts. For no reason. Lyra is just a badass, and Krennic is an he feels very insecure with the way that he reacts to Lyra because he doesn't know how to handle her.
Oh, he has no idea how to handle her.
Yeah. He's like, wow,
Or,
this strong, rather independent woman could totally kick my ass with a baby strapped to her. And I don't know what to do with that. I don't like her.
and and she has more influence on his favorite scientist, Galen,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
always pisses him off.
Yeah. And so throughout the novel, he's very much like trying to kind of reduce that influence, and I think that that's really important as well because we see Galen when he doesn't have Lyra's influence, and it's not good.
Yeah.
That man was
He's
depressed
usually
in
just
Rogue One.
he's just sitting there basically on his own, doesn't talk much,
Yeah.
always in his head.
Yeah. And so he definitely needs the presence of people who actually care about him and not just what he can do for them in order to bring him out of that. Because
Mhm.
they're like, as Lyra says to him, she's like, I didn't marry your research, I married you, which I was like, oh, that's precious. you
Mhm.
know. Whereas yeah, I've joked in the past about being a Krennic and Galen shipper, but I'm like, Krennic is in it for the research. He's in it for what Galen can do for him,
Mhm.
right? And like even Tarkin points out, he's like, oh yeah, Galen Urso's the reason that Krennic got that promotion. Like Krennic knows that he has very little to offer without Galen and his work.
I
Um,
mean, throughout the novel, Krennic repeatedly brings up how Galen Erso is going to be his ticket to
mhm.
getting directorship of DS1.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know. I feel like when it comes down to it, Andor season 2 is going to have a lot of references to this novel that we're just not expecting yet. They
I'm
might be like
sure.
really small, but I mean the Death Star in and of itself is a reference. um and I feel Because there is that one refuge that was on Coruscant that was leveled for the facility, the Celestial Power facility.
Yeah,
And
it's the
I can't
what
remember
is
what
it?
it is. But it's like there's that part of me immediately. I was like, oh, like there was probably some whole big thing in the Senate about that. And
Bancor Refuge.
yeah, that's it. And I feel as though a certain someone, upon meeting Galen Urso and realizing, oh, you're the reason that these people had to be moved to some entirely different planet after they'd been here for generations. Huh, I don't
Yeah, it
like
says
you.
50 generations.
It's yeah, it's gonna I hope Mon brings it up in front of Krennic because she is at her core. I like to joke the friend that is too woke.
Hmm.
Perrin has definitely made that meme about his wife, just like my wife's look at it's a picture of my wife, and it's like the friend that's too woke. And she's like, she's the
Hmm.
best. Um, yeah. And then we have like the Geonosis stuff. I think that this novel is actually a really good tie-in from like the prequels into Rogue One. Like
Yes.
it transcends that like what era is this book from? It's like, well, it's from two eras. It feels similar to Lost Stars in that way, because it
Yes.
like you go through so much, but it's
And then
also
you
go on.
jump into you go from the prequel stuff where it's like
Mm-hmm.
trying to set up the Empire, trying to erase the Jedi, and then it's bam, you're in the original trilogy.
Yeah,
And then bam, you're at Jakku.
yeah, but it still feels like very cohesive as well
Oh yes,
within
very
that,
much so.
you know. And I don't know, like I still really love Krennic. I think that he's such an interesting character because he feels very much like that guy who's not qualified for anything, and then like for some reason he just has all of this power. So I get why he pisses Tarkin off, because you know Tarkin has proven himself at so many opportunities, and Krennic just feels like just a guy.
Well, they talk about a lot in the novel. Krennic is best at allocating resources
Mm-hmm.
and he's a great manager, but
Yeah,
he's not a great leader the way Tarkin is
yeah.
at the military sides of things.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, um that's actually perfectly it. uh yeah, I do think that it is interesting to see characters like that though, and the way that they interact with other characters, that they're like, oh, this person is like on a similar level to me, and Tarkin's like, you are so far beneath me at all of these things. I do not like you. I will take control of your project eventually.
Yeah, and the Tarkin and Krennic scenes in this novel just amazing because they're
Yeah.
always just like they act like cats that are not trying to fight each other physically, but like they're trying to one up one another.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just I love the banter between them. From the moment I saw them together in Rogue One, I was like, I need more of this. And then Catalyst was like, here you go. And I was like, wonderful, thank you. This is what I live for. I live for Imperial infighting, where you have those moments where it's two characters who are like part of the Empire. They just cannot stand each other. They are annoying whenever they are annoying to anybody who has to experience the two of them together, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Hmm.
Like we see it a little bit with some of the Inquisitors, but that feels more like brother sister cat fighting, and that's how it's supposed to feel. Like, no,
Hmm.
well, the Grand Inquisitor likes me the best. I'm better at this. I'm better at this. You can't do this. It feels very much like that. But when you have characters like Krennic and Thrawn, not Thrawn, Tarkin. I'm actually going to include Thrawn in this as well, because he ultimately becomes part of
Yeah.
this whole argument.
Yes, he does in
The
treason.
the wet cat nature of how they're just scrapping, and I'm like, you do not want to be. pissing Vader off. And Vader is going to take Tarkin's side of that, like ultimately.
Yes, yes, he
Because
does.
he's like, we have a long history, we work well together. You know, they've like Tarkin was able to show Vader, like, hey, this is how tough I really freaking am. And then we add the whole layer of what we know about like the Carrion Spike back on Ariadu, and it's like,
Mhm.
wow, you were 13 years old and that happened to you. Delightful,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
That's fucked up. Your family is weird.
they're very weird, but it also explains a lot of the reasons why Tarkin
Yeah.
is the way that he is.
Mm-hmm. And it also lends very much because there are so many cultures in Star Wars that value that physical strength, right? And
Hmm.
it always causes an issue.
It always does.
You have the Mandalorians, and these are all cultures that I respect for their own like different reasons. But you've got like Mandalorian culture, you've got the culture of the Night Brothers, you've got like Iriadu,
Stranger
and
fans.
yeah, and so characters that are more intellectual or not combat based from those cultures tend to get like forgotten about and ignored.
Hmm.
And so, you know, like Galen in so many ways does not fit into Star Wars at all. He's just like, I'm just here to do research. My research just happens to be on something unique to Star Wars. I don't want to go to war. It's like, I don't
I
want,
just
like,
want to build, I just want to make energy for all of the different
yeah.
people of the galaxy. That's
And
all I want to do.
and that is such like a noble goal that just Krennic exploits and uses against him, which sucks because
Hmm.
I think that his like Galen's motives are very pure and genuine, and I think that Krennic was wrong for lying to him. And I say this as somebody who enjoys the character of Orson Krennic. I'm just like, you were wrong with what you did and how you went about it.
Oh, he was
Because
very manipulative about it.
yeah.
Like he basically destroyed his relationship with his job just
Mm-hmm.
so that he can maneuver him
Mm-hmm.
into a position where he can build the Death Star laser,
Mm-hmm.
but he won't even tell him that he's doing that because he is such a pacifist
Mm-hmm.
that he's like, you know what? You came to me saying, hey, I want to build a business with you where we're just going to build power for the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, I can't do that. I'm kind of in the middle of something. Oh, hey, now I'm good to do this, and we're going to have the full backing of the Galactic Empire.
Yeah. And Galen also like for as like intelligent as he is also slightly naive, but I don't even blame him for it because, he should have been able to trust somebody that he had that kind of history with. He shouldn't have had to worry about his government using his research to kill billions of people, you know.
Mhm.
Like you should be allowed to be naive about that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just really wish that Mon got to meet Galen at some point because I feel like they would get along really well because they both share that whole like pacifistic ideal of doing the right thing and wanting to help as many people as possible. So yeah, I'm really sad that Galen died. Thanks,
Hmm.
Draven.
Oh,
I I,
Draven.
I love Draven. But sometimes I'm like, why are you like this?
Oh, I haven't
It's
heard that for them for 5 minutes. Send in the strikes.
send in the strike team.
Oh, my people are there. Please tell them to stop. They're too late. Well,
Oh,
fuck.
okay. Well, very much my feelings with Draven are that meme from the Babadook where I'm just screaming at him like, why can't you stop committing war crimes for once? And he's just committing more war crimes. Someone needs to keep Draven and Chopper away from each other.
Oh, yes. They would be too powerful together.
Also keep Jin and Chopper away from each other.
Oh, God.
And K2 and Chopper away from keep Chopper in a
Away
closet.
from everyone.
Away
He
from
needs hair
anyone
to keep
who
him.
needs no reason, who will not hesitate. Somebody who would hesitate, you can trust with Chopper. Like Mon, you can trust with Chopper. they worked well together in Secret Cargo.
Hmm.
They were able to get the ships detached. Great teamwork. This like slightly surprised that Chopper wasn't like, hey, you know what we should consider now? War crimes. Just Mon like, what's that?
Mom's like, no, not today, Chopper.
Not today. Hera, is your droid the devil? Hera's like, yeah, probably. Chopper is that cat that you find in the dumpster. Luke's like,
Yeah, yeah.
here are my droids, and they're all shiny and wonderful, and this is how I got them. And Hera's like, I found this in the dumpster. Chopper.
I mean, she
I
technically did. He
That's
was
true.
in a, what was he, in a damaged Y-wing on the Battle of Ryloth?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So she did find him in a dumpster
Yeah,
technically.
he is that dumpster cat, and we love him for it. uh I make jokes about characters that I love because I am comfortable doing so.
I know, right?
Like, oh, Chopper, you little war criminal. Here's a sticker. There you go. It's a gold star. Good job on all those war crimes. Yeah, but I feel like anyone who doesn't like Galen Urso and thinks that, he sucks or is a bad person, I'm like, you just really misunderstand his character. And he wasn't trying. He was actually trying to do an aggressively good thing.
Yeah, he went back to protect his daughter, and then
Mm-hmm.
he's like, you know what? I'm gonna build an Achilles heel into this thing.
Yeah. And I'm
Then
going to tell the
after he
most,
finished, he tried to get it out there.
yeah. He told the most I won't hesitate bitch that he knew, Saw Gerrera. He was like, hey, Saw, you want to blow this shit up? And Saw's like, boy, fucking howdy. Yes, I do. And I
You
do,
had me at blow shit up.
yeah. Yeah. And that is, I think that that's a very thorough connection between Jin and Saw is that they are two bitches, affectionate, who will not hesitate. They will punch you in the face. They will blow things up. They will shoot you as long as there is a reason to do so.
Hmm.
You cannot stop them. If they've decided that it's time for you to go, you're gone.
Yeah,
And
and they did that a lot.
yeah, just nothing scares me more than when Jin pulls out that truncheon on Jeddah and she's just like
Yeah.
Cassian's like, holy fuck, where the hell did she get that? I was worried about the blaster. This is worse somehow.
Casey
But
Litho was like, she has a blaster. Why don't I get a blaster?
yeah,
And it's like, she doesn't need a blaster.
she doesn't. Oh yeah, it's no, but I think that like the tone of the novel is very serious as it should be, but there are
Hmm.
those moments of like those little heartwarming moments that are very like soft and genuine and pure, and most of those involve little teeny tiny Jin or so. And I'm like, to
Yes.
think that she grows up to just hit stormtroopers with a truncheon.
Hmm.
Her mom would be proud.
She would be very
and
proud.
and Lyra's not even a violent person. Like I feel like up to a point she'd be like, yeah, non-violent action. She did not look comfortable when she was holding that gun at Krennic. The only reason that she was okay with it was because it was Krennic.
Hmm. She is
Like,
another person that she probably wasn't great with the blaster, but like
yeah,
her entire job was going to uninhabited worlds for survey. She
yeah,
knows how to defend herself.
yeah,
Maybe not with blasters, but like there were multiple times where like she was, fisticuffs and like
yeah,
prepared to fight. Like there was those two random like sellers when she's a little paranoid she's being followed. And she's
yeah.
like, okay, I gotta get ready. And I'm like, hey, this pennant would be perfect on you. And she's like, oh, oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay. It's so
I thought I
funny.
was gonna get.
She's ready to throw down. Yeah. Yeah, no, like the novel often not really like often, I say, but on a couple of occasions, it does mention that Lyra is a physically fit woman. Galen is usually described as tired in
Hmm.
one way or another. And I'm like, Galen's not the one you want with you in a fight. It's Lyra.
And it's funny because when during the Futures program little
Mm-hmm.
reunion party, you have Lyra and Galen seeing
Yeah.
that, or not, Lyra and Orson are looking,
Yeah.
and Galen's getting basically accused of being a traitor by that one dude.
Yeah.
And they're like trying to converge him to like, oh shit, he's about to get his ass beat. And then Galen just goes and then just knocks him out in one hit, and they're just like, oh, okay.
Okay. Don't piss off the science boy. It's always the quiet ones you have to watch out for.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I think that anyone who is looking forward to Andor or who loves Rogue One and hasn't read this book needs to rectify that.
Yes. I would say
Yeah.
Catalyst, Rebel Rising,
Mm-hmm. The Mask of Fear.
Mask of Fear. I'm
No,
still
I'm
not done
still
yet,
not
but I'm
shutting up
close.
about it. It's so good. Oh my gosh.
I,
Oh,
I don't want to get into where I'm personally at in the novel, but I mean, we've talked about a little bit where
yeah.
I'm at,
Yeah.
and I'm almost there. It's been a rough week at work, but
Yeah.
I'm working through it.
There are some chapters that after reading them, I was like, okay, need to put this down for a little while.
I wonder what chapter you're talking
Chapter
me.
17 for one. The last chapter, I finished it and I was like, okay, okay, that's how you end the book. Okay. Um, no
Oh no.
spoilers beyond that, but I was like, okay, fine. Uh,
Oh no.
but it's just so
Worried now.
good. Also, the Rogue One novel as a whole, just
Oh yeah.
chef's kiss.
Also Alexander Freed.
Yes, we love Alexander Freed in this house. In this house.
And I am, and like in the Rogue One novel, you have all those little like files in between
Mm-hmm.
each chapter, and then all of a sudden you get stuff like the most boring conversation ever, but it's Galen trying to get the approval for the the thermal vent so that
Mm-hmm.
Luke can blow it up. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my gosh, this is so boring, but also so fascinating how it's coming
Yeah.
across.
For a non-violent man, he was very much like, I need to, this thing needs to be blown up. And
Hmm.
I respect that. I respect when characters who are like, we're trying to find a non-violent solution are like, you know what? We're going to war. It's time to kill some fascists. And
Hmm.
that is where we stand on this.
Yes.
And peaceful characters losing their shit and being ready to go to war is up here in
Hmm.
character. And I love to see it every time. It never fails to satisfy.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, why did you choose Catalyst specifically?
Well, you know, as we're going into Andor,
Mm-hmm.
we've got a lot of things that like a lot of things that set up everything that Andor is building towards is Rogue One. And this is one of the best novels that helps build up Rogue
Mm-hmm.
One, which
Mm-hmm.
therefore builds up Andor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got, Galen, Lyra, Orson Krennic, who we really hadn't had a lot of,
Mm-hmm.
actual story about, but he's a huge player in this novel, obviously. Uh, then there's the fact that, it's builds up the Saw Gerrera and how
Mm-hmm.
he gets to help the Ursos escape and
Mm-hmm.
set up Rogue One,
Mm-hmm. And Baby Jin,
Baby Jin.
because Baby Jin grows into Big Jin, and Big Jin does not take any shit. And she basically kills Krennic with the
Hmm.
help of Cassian.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that every single piece of Rogue One material, including Andor, Catalyst, Rebel Rising, all of this only makes the end of Rogue One more tragic.
Hmm.
Because the first time that I watched the first Star Wars movie, like A New Hope, I was like, okay, planet got blown up. That's where Princess Leia is from. That's bad. That's terrible. And even hearing like, oh, 1.2 billion people died or like 2 billion people died or whatever, I was like, okay, but I don't know anything about this planet or its people. The more that I learn about these characters, the more attached I grow to them and the more I understand and can feel bad that their story has ended in such a brutal way. Even characters like Tarkin, like the more that we learn about Tarkin, the more I'm like, oh, that actually sucks. Like you went through all of this shit to die just kind of standing there, not doing anything. You know,
Yeah,
like
a great like this guy is built up to be this great warrior, and he
yeah,
doesn't even get to die fighting.
yeah,
He kind of dies from his own hubris.
yeah. Like and at the same time, like the hubris does make sense for the character, but that aids the tragedy, right?
Yes.
Reading Catalyst and then watching Lyra and Galen and Saw and Krennic and like everyone watching them die, it hurts more because it's like, wow, you really did like such amazing things and you died in such a shitty way, you know?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
low key, not gonna lie, Krennic did have it coming, being destroyed by a weapon that you manipulated, someone that called you a friend into making. That Revenge is a dish best served like kyber crystal laser thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
But and again, like that leans into the hubris that Krennic has as a character as well. Um,
Yes. Yes, it does.
but I'm always for stories that make things that happen far more tragic.
Yeah.
Because once I met Bail Organa, I was like, he was he was on Alderaan when it got blown up,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And then just like seeing it in Obi-Wan Kenobi and going back and rewatching something that is super painful right after consuming something else that adds more layers to it is just it's another gut punch. And I
Yeah. It's like reading Shadow of the Sith and going, hey,
mm,
you know what I should watch right now? Rise of Skywalker.
Skywalker. Yeah.
And then, just getting hurt all over again from all the
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. And like, playing JFO again, right? Like, actually like going through the full game this time, not giving up, being like, I just finished Zepho. If the rest of it's gonna be this hard, I give up. 18%, good enough. C's get degrees. That's not even a C, but C's get degrees. Right. But because I have even more context for Order 66, and I know the clones from the Clone Wars, any Order 66 scene makes me really emotional.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
like, because it's like, yeah, it sucked the first time I was watching Revenge of the Sith because I was like, oh no, like the Jedi are dying. Their friends turned on them. I was a kid, right? I
Hmm.
think I was eight, maybe nine the first time I saw it. But I'm like, yeah, that sucks. Like the Jedi were betrayed by their friends. And now I'm like, oh, those friends didn't even have a choice.
Yeah.
That's great, you know.
And Legends, they had this whole like
Mm-hmm.
order initiative where like, hey, this is what happens when this order is initiated.
Yeah.
And then Order 66 is just one, and it's like, oh, they're not supposed to feel anything about it, but they do. And then you
Yeah.
get to Clone Wars where like, hey, we're gonna actually make it a chip
Mm-hmm.
that stops them from doing it. And it's like, oh, that's so much worse.
Yeah.
That's so much worse. And
Yeah.
then after the chip gets activated, it doesn't stop being
Yeah.
activated.
Yeah. Alrighty. So according to this, we have just under 10 minutes. So what are you most looking forward to in Andor season two?
Hold on, I got this all written down. Looking
Perfect.
forward to in season two. I'm looking forward to all of the returning characters from Rogue One. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to Orson. I'm looking forward to K2SO. I'm looking
Yes.
forward to Mon going radicalized. Because this is the point where she's going to start going from just being a senator behind the scenes to actually becoming the leader of the rebellion.
Hmm. I'm excited for seeing that growth. Yeah. Oh, losing my mind. Who is your favorite character from Andor? Like original character to and like the series that we hadn't seen before.
I don't know. It's got to be either Bix
So
or
real.
BTMO.
Oh, I love B. He wasn't in
Yeah.
the trailer either.
Yeah.
We were missing the lesbians. We were missing Clea. We were missing Draven. We were
Well,
missing B.
one of the people walking away from the candid camera during the opening, I thought that might have been Val.
Maybe. It could have been. Part of me is hoping that it could be Val. Because I need her to be safe. Hasn't Mon been through enough?
Yes, she doesn't need her cousin
She
dying
doesn't need
as
her
her
cousin
daughter is about
dying.
to get
She doesn't
married.
need her daughter dying. She doesn't need her husband dying. Like, she doesn't need her boyfriend dying.
No.
Just me writing a letter to Tony, like, hi, please rescue all of these characters. Um, Alrighty. What is your favorite thing about Mon Mothma, or what are your favorite things about Mon Mothma? Because that's the most important question of the entire universe.
So I think one of my favorite things about Mon Mothma
Mm-hmm.
is her empathy for the people of the rebellion. Like all through a lot of the books that she's in and all the series that she's in, she's out here helping people. You've got people like Leia, who she's always the biggest cheerleader for.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Thane Kyrell, who's just drunk, missing his girlfriend, being comforted by Mon. You've
The
got
dream come true, real.
you've got people in Rebels where she's like she's helping them through stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's always there for her people, and like
Mm-hmm.
even in Legends, when you had the three cornerstones of the rebellion, you had Bale who was bringing in the politics. You had Mon
Mm-hmm.
that was bringing in the people.
Mm-hmm.
You had I forget the third guy, the Carillion. Uh, he brought in the
Nadine?
ships.
No,
Yeah, not
no.
Medine.
Oh
I
my
can't think of
gosh,
it.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember the name right now.
But he brought in the ships. But Mon was
Yeah.
the people person. She
Mm-hmm.
was the one that could build the coalition,
Mm-hmm.
and it's her empathy that is going to drive her to do what needs to be done
Mm-hmm.
to end the war.
Yeah. Yeah. She's good with that. I do also like I completely agree. She's very much that person that you want to follow. And I don't,
Hmm.
I, yes, I'm biased. Okay. If she was like, hi, I'd be like, yes, I'm on your side 100%. Let's go. But, it's because she does these things to make sure that she's not speaking down to them. She's speaking to them at the same level with that thing of empathy. Like you said in Rebels with Ezra, where he's like, but we said we'd help Lothal. And she was like, yeah, we are trying, right? We also have all of these other worlds to worry about. We can't let our personal feelings dictate who gets help and who doesn't. And I think
Hmm.
that that was really important for Ezra to learn because she's coming at it from a place of, yes, my extremely privileged planet is also suffering. So, you know, that's that means a lot, I think. Because he's
Hmm.
like, oh, it's not just us little guys. It's the big powerful people who are also suffering, you know? Yeah. Also for the my kingdom for Mon Mothma taking care of me while I'm drunk. That's anyways, thank you so much for joining us today, Zach. It really means a lot. I hope that
Thank
Andor
you for having
season
me.
two, of course, I hope that Andor season two makes you happy. You're probably
I
also going to
really
be
hope
made
so.
really sad, but it's about
Probably that's going to happen.
balance. It's about a
Yes.
little bit of balance. Um, yeah, so how can our lovely people find you on the interwebs?
You can really just find me on Blue Sky as
Mm-hmm.
Zach Reader 92.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say my Twitter, but I don't use that anymore.
Yeah,
So
same. um, yeah, and you can find the Mothmanet at Mothma Updates on social media platforms. Don't look at our Twitter, it hasn't been touched in months. And you can find me at Bejeweled Mothma because best believe she's still bejeweled. Um,
mm,
and yeah, uh, that's really it for today. I don't know. I don't remember what day I have this specific episode down for, but tomorrow is another day, another topic, another guest. It's just another day, another shift. And that's not even a hint because I don't have anyone booked for Kino Loy right now. um, yeah. So we'll see you here tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone.
thank you.
Bye.